mean, Rachel Reeves has come up with free bus rides throughout summer for young people and some discounts off theme parks and museums. This is sort of the political equivalent of monkey tennis, isn't it? I mean, how are these very small fry changes going to make an impact to, say, a family when, if you wanted to go to Alton Towers, even with a slight discount, it's like 125 quid? Like, actually, life is becoming unaffordable for young people, regardless of whether they can get from one expensive place to another on a free bus.
Look, there's no denying there are macroeconomic challenges here about how we improve people's pay and living standards, working with employers and getting the economy firing on all cylinders. But I have to say to you, Camilla, I find it pretty remarkable how many wealthy commentators in the Westminster bubble tell me that helping parents get free travel on the bus this summer or making it a bit cheaper to do something nice with your kids when they're at home from school is irrelevant. There are lots of young people across the country, including in my own constituency, who when they're not in school during the summer holidays and mum and dad don't have enough money to do something nice for the kids or to be able to afford to even travel into the city centre sometimes, that little bit of extra help will make a big difference to them. And I think these wealthy commentators from the Westminster bubble need to get out of London, they need to talk to people, they need to understand that whilst these are small interventions, they're important interventions at a time when we know the cost of living is a challenge for people. And that should be
Darren Jones, this apparently wealthy commentator doesn't live in London. I live in a rural area where there's a bus every 2 hours. It doesn't help my son to be on it in the summer holidays. He needs the bus when he's at school, point one. Point two, you don't need to be a, quote, wealthy commentator to argue that probably the best way for people to be better off when they're in work is to tax them less. But unfortunately, we've had 2 successive Labour budgets that have put taxes up. Tax burdens at an all-time high, Darren Jones. Meanwhile, sorry, and again, I don't think you need to be a wealthy commentator to point out that the gilt yields are now over 5%. They're much higher than they were when apparently Liz Truss crashed the economy. So we've got tax at an all-time high, borrowing at an all-time high, not much money to go around, and gimmicks like a free bus in August. It doesn't even touch the sides, Darren Jones, does it?
Camilla, you're being very defensive about being a wealthy commentator. I didn't mean to upset you. All I'm saying is that this is not the first interview where I've been told that helping families out a little bit this summer to do something nice with their kids is irrelevant. And all I'm saying is I recognise it's a small intervention in the summer, but it will make a difference to many families and young people across the country. I also recognise, as I've said in the interview so far, that free bus travel for kids in the summer is a nice thing to do, but it's not going to solve the fact that we've got to be a richer country than we are, and that's why the government's taking steps with employers and others to be able to give people the skills and opportunities to succeed in the modern economy in the years ahead. But I wouldn't write off the idea that a little bit of help for parents this summer on lower incomes is a nice thing to do at a time when we know the cost of living is a challenge for many of them.